Hello, welcome to Facebook Live with NICE. My name is Paul Chance, and I am the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Workforce Management. And with me today is Nathan Stearns. Nathan, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I am Nathan Stearns. I work for NICE also. I'm Vice President of WFO Product Strategy, and I have an opportunity to look into the future with what NICE is looking to deal with.
Super. So today's topic, we're going to talk about artificial intelligence today. And so I was talking to my wife last night, and she was saying, well, what do you have planned for work tomorrow? And I said, well, we're going to talk on Facebook about artificial intelligence. And you know what her response was? She has in her mind the Terminator and robots destroying the planet and all this other stuff. So is that what we're going to talk about today?
Well, no, you don't have to worry about the Terminator showing up in your contact center tomorrow. It's an interesting area of interest. There's a lot of marketing going on around it. Maybe we should take just a minute to talk about what it is.
That would be really helpful, I think, to level set.
You know, the Brookings Institute just released a really interesting article. I think it did a great job of describing what artificial intelligence is, because there's a lot of definitions. They say there's three dimensions. One is intentionality. What the artificial intelligence really needs to do is work on decisions that normally require a human level of expertise to come to the decision. And then you use that expertise to anticipate problems or deal with issues that come up. So that's the intentionality dimension of artificial intelligence. The second dimension I talked about was intellect, which is the intelligence part. And this is where algorithms accumulate and gather an immense amount of data. They process that data, they analyze it, and then they act on the insights that come out of that analysis. It's a little bit more than that, though. It's really compiling the decisions that come from those insights and balancing all the different considerations like effectiveness and equity and justice and things like that. Because without that element, artificial intelligence can lead you to some untrustworthy results or biased results. So the intellect really needs to be able to balance often competing considerations as it's processing the data. And then the third element that the article talked about was adaptability. These algorithms, these systems have to adjust in many cases in real time to changing conditions. And that's, I think, a very good kind of a layman's definition of what's involved in artificial intelligence.
Okay, that's great. So workforce management, we hear about it all the time. You turn on the news and it seems like some form of AI is out there, whether it be in manufacturing and building cars or self-driving cars. There's a lot of different things out there. How is artificial intelligence impacting the contact center space? Since that's really whom our audience is really going to be interested in.
So you're already encountering artificial intelligence, whether you know it or not. Just think about the last time you logged into a website and you started a chat session. What the element or the person or the entity that you're actually conversing with initially is artificial intelligence. In fact, some of the websites will tell you you're talking to a virtual assistant.
Yeah.
So the chatbot is what that's called, is a great example of how artificial intelligence is being applied in the contact center. Another area that you see it already deployed is in what's called natural language processing. And the best example of this is when, let's say you call into a contact center and you start conversing with an IVR that's talking back to you as if it's a live person. So you don't have to push buttons anymore. You're just having a natural conversation, and it's interpreting what you're asking for, what your need is. And it will either resolve your issue right there for you, or it can do a better direction to a live agent based on that. So another example of artificial intelligence. And then there is the area of robots. Robots actually
I thought we weren't going there.
They do actually exist in the contact center and the back office. Not the shiny ones, the scary ones that you see on TV. These robots are really designed to bring automation and streamline tasks.
Like repetitive tasks?
Repetitive tasks, things that the agents have to do over and over. Or it may be guiding the agents. They may be sensing something that's going on in the conversation or the data that's being transacted, and you can actually do real-time guidance, and the robot can provide the prompting for the agent. The flip side of that coin are the robots that actually handle the transaction. And the customer can actually get a lot of their work done by just interacting with the robot. Again, typically the programmable, repetitive kind of tasks that you typically see. So robots do exist, and they use artificial intelligence to help complete those tasks. And then another, probably the longest standing example of artificial intelligence is in speech analytics, where we're taking the words that are spoken and we're driving the intent and sentiment and gaining better insights of both the employee and the customer, so that we can add that insight or intelligence to the interaction, to the way you react to situations, provide insight to the customer, guide them down a certain path, that sort of thing. So it's been around a while, and it's still...
And it's permeated the entire workforce
out there.
management and call center environment. So let's drill into that a little bit. What about workforce management? Is AI involved there?
It is. And like in the contact center, it's been involved for quite some time. You just didn't necessarily know it. And there's been some new developments. So really there's 5 areas where you see the application of AI in WFM. One is in the strategic planning. One is in the hiring and tactical forecasting, which are offshoots or the downstream activities of the strategic plan.
Yeah.
And then once you get your hiring and your tactical plans in place, then you have the challenge of scheduling. And AI is coming to play there and has been working in the area of scheduling. And then change management. Change management is making use of AI as well. So those are the typical areas where you're seeing AI affecting the WFM process.
So the entire workflow.
The entire workflow.
Yeah.
There's opportunity across the board.
Okay. So, and I said this before on Facebook Live, I'm from Missouri. Show me the state.
Okay.
And so let's drill into these specifically on planning. A lot of folks in WFM are planners, and that's what they do. How does AI help them?
So gone are the days when a WFM forecaster had only one model to use in the workforce management system to create the volume forecast, the calls and the HT, the contacts, whatever is being forecasted. Now what you have, like in our system, is a series of models that are designed to process an immense amount of data and find the hidden patterns that an individual can't see, or they can't see without a lot of their own heavy lifting and analysis. So what we've done with AI in this area is we've broadened the scope of the models that we've made available, and then we've kind of narrowed the scope by applying the artificial intelligence so that you don't actually have to hire statisticians to make sense of all this new technology. We have provided the ability for the system to do a best pick for each of your queues that you're managing, and that best pick can mold itself or adapt itself as things are changing, because one model that may be working today might need to be changed out for a different model later. And our system does that for the workforce management team automatically.
Okay, so does it apply then one forecast model to the entire forecast period?
Now, in fact, because you go through seasons of change, you might have different competitive activities that you're doing or your competitors are doing that's impacting you. These models can pick that up. They can sense the changes, and the model or the best pick option can actually switch out models on the fly as it's seeing one model starting to underperform compared to the other models.
Wow. So I can see how they could really help get a more accurate picture of requirements. So that leads to the next step. In the work life cycle of a workforce management team, you do the long-term planning, you decide we need to hire some people. And so how in the world, to me, hiring is very much a function of HR. They recruit, they bring people in, they interview, and then they hire people. What could be better than that, right?
But what's interesting about that assumption or that process is it's the ops teams, it's the WFM teams, it's the line managers that have to deal with what HR provided them as far as candidates. So one of the things that we're working on and have available is the ability to apply some machine learning to understand how do your current employees perform, what what helps them to engage with the company, with the customer? What can we sense from all of that performance data that we've been collecting from your existing employees, and then apply that to the candidate selection process? And so basically we have moved the kind of the traditional voice of the employee, voice of the customer further upstream in the employee life cycle, and now we do analysis on the voice of the candidate. And we can look for emotional engagement, intent, and things like that, and then attach that to your environment, what motivates people, what drives people, what helps people become engaged and effective in your environment. And we can use that in a predictive model to help you make a better selection of all the candidates that you have coming in your funnel.
So we can handle more candidates and apply this artificial intelligence to figure out who are the best, which I believe helped me to understand this, but wouldn't that help with attrition rates?
Yes, from a variety of perspectives. For one thing, you can do this analysis 7 by 24 by 365. You're no longer dependent upon a person needing to have an interaction and do this kind of analysis, because a human can pick up on things like, is someone really engaged?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Space out for a second.
So what we're doing is helping machines really expand the potential pool that you can select from. The end result, when you open your pool up, you have a wider pool of candidates to choose from, and you're narrowing your focus on the best predicted candidates for your environment. That will translate into lower attrition rates. People will remain engaged. They'll be a better fit for your organization, for the work that you're asking them to do. So attrition, it's really what we're driving for in this area of applying machine learning to the hiring process.
Yeah, attrition is one of the biggest areas of cost.
Yes.
Controllable cost is, in a contact center.
And every contact center struggles with it to varying
Right.
degrees, but turnover is a constant challenge.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've talked about planning and we've talked about the hiring process. Well, once you get these people hired, you have to schedule them. So is there any way that AI can help us on the scheduling front?
Yeah, and this is an area where the tools of AI have actually been in place for quite some time in WFM systems. So for example, in our environment, when we deploy our system, we create a framework that uses some analytics and simulation coupled together to solve two of the most challenging elements of scheduling in an omni-channel contact center. One of those challenges is estimating skill usage, and the other is, well, what do you gain from that skill mix? What's your efficiency?
Right.
Without those two, deep understanding and accurate understanding of how your employee base needs to be deployed, scheduling can really run you off the rails. So what we do is our system creates a model of the real world, and our analytics analyzes multiple variations that could be deployed in terms
Right.
of schedules,
Right.
and it will come up with your best picked set of schedules based on a thorough understanding of how people will be using their skills, and then what does that do to your requirements from an efficiency perspective.
So if I understand what you're saying correctly, you've got a solution to that skills-based routing issue that's a problem in Erlang, inherent in Erlang.
True. It's a very complex challenge, because when you have multi-skilled employees, you cannot assume that history is going to repeat itself in the area of skill usage, because when one employee disappears from the pool, whether that's because of a break, a lunch, training, absenteeism, whatever, it has this ripple effect throughout the entire organization. So that's the problem we have solved for many years, and we continue to enhance and create new capabilities around that to drive that accuracy.
Okay, so we got it in planning, we have it in hiring, we have it in scheduling, change management.
All these wonderful plans and effort that we put into the forecasting and scheduling, unfortunately, real world happens, and you have to deal with changes. And this is an area that WFM systems have traditionally done a pretty good job of presenting information to the WFM team, but not necessarily helping you interpret it and gain insights from it and then take action on it.
Solve it. Yeah.
So this is the area that we are investing heavily in. We just, for the past year have been working with our Employee Engagement Manager solution. It's a very powerful tool in the hands of the WFM team that's designed to help you be smarter and more proactive about your change management processes. Really, the concept is don't wait for the day to get here and react to change. Be proactive, look into the future, find our opportunities that you know exist, and start making the change ahead of time. As well as React, there's tools in there to react intraday as well. So we're covering it for the full spectrum of time horizon, but what we're doing is applying algorithms and analysis to help the WFM team, one, automate a lot of this change management, but also be smarter about who you contact to help you adjust to the change. So when you, in a world of WFM, one of your tools is you change schedules if you're over understaffed.
Right.
Well, the question is, who do I change the schedule for and what should I change? And that is the area that we're applying technology to help you target the right person at the right time through their preferred channel of communication so that you have a better response rate, better engagement with the employee.
Okay, so I can see that this creates a win for the business because it can help with the staffing issues where I don't have enough people or I've got too many people for whatever interval, and we can solve that. But it's also helping the agent engagement and really allowing them to have some say in partnering with us on that scheduling.
Exactly. Like for instance, in our system, we invite the employee into the workforce management process. We show them through some simplistic color coding kind of approaches. We show them how they can become engaged in the workforce management process. It's as if you expand your WFM team by an order of magnitude.
Yeah.
The employee, what they have is immediate insight into what they can do for their personal life, and they're doing it to help you out, kind of unbeknownst to them. But what they're looking at it is from their eyes, their perspectives. And that's really where you see the engagement, because anytime you give employees an opportunity to be proactive and to take initiative, they feel like they're really part of the process.
So we have AI impacting every aspect of the workforce model, from the long-term planning and hiring, the tactical forecasting, the scheduling, the change management part. And the business gets the benefit, the employees get the benefit. It's a win-win.
It's win-win.
Win-win. So I have to ask a final question, Nathan. Are robots going to replace our staff?
No, you won't see Arnold showing up on your WFM team anytime soon. But I think you will see the nature of the work changing. You're going to see a lot of the tasks that are manual today. Those will be automated smartly and proactively. But that will free up your WFM team from being primarily clerks to being analysts. And then when you give them AI tools that can be used to be smarter and more proactive about forecasting, hiring, scheduling, change management, those analysts actually start contributing a lot more value to your organization than what they're doing today when they're just processing change requests.
Right, they can actually be doing strategic decision making. Exactly. So that's great. Nathan, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and thank you everyone, Facebook land, for watching. We have more information on artificial intelligence and workforce management on NICE.com. So feel free to go to our website and check that out. We'd also like to invite you to participate in interactions this year, where you'll be able to meet with many of our experts and have wonderful conversations. Thank you again, and have a great day.